You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
Hey everybody, I want to take a few minutes here and talk about our sponsor, Splunk. You know, you need to keep operations humming around the clock, but potential disruptions are everywhere. Splunk helps you predict problems and find and fix issues fast, so you can reduce risk and ditch downtime. The world's largest enterprises rely on Splunk's unified security and observability platform to become more efficient, resilient, and innovative. With Splunk, you can react quickly, evolve faster, and be ready for anything. Stay ahead of disruptions. Learn more at splunk.com/resilience.
I am Dave Farrow. I am a Senior Director of Information Security at Barracuda Networks, and I'm responsible for their entire internal security program. At the end of high school, my father was into technology. He was an early adopter, which is odd because he was in human relations, or HR, all of his life. And he had this K-Pro, and he kept trying to get me to play with this K-Pro computer that he had, and I wanted nothing to do with it. He thought he might lure me in with a Commodore 64, and I preferred to surf and ride my bike around Southern California. It wasn't until I spent a quarter at college doing a non-technical, non-engineering course of study that I realized that I didn't like that I really wanted something more concrete. And at that point, I picked up and started studying electrical engineering. I chose electrical engineering because at that point I'd had a couple of classes in the prerequisite classes in physics and whatnot, and all of the mechanical stuff sort of made logical sense to me. And I thought I'm gonna go with electrical because it makes absolutely no sense to me. And if I'm gonna pay for this, or my parents are gonna put me through this, I should at least learn something that I couldn't learn on my own. And so I chose something that made no sense to me at all. It's funny because, my life is filled with doing a bunch of things I never said I would do. I swore I would never do software because at least in the electrical engineering school at Berkeley, there was this snobbery that said the only people that were in software were people that couldn't make it through the EE program. And it's funny because as soon as I graduated, I had an offer from an old aerospace company that's gone now called TRW that said, hey, we'll pay you to learn software. And something tickled in the back of my mind saying, this is an offer that you probably shouldn't refuse. And once I actually got into writing software, I fell in love with it and realized that snobbery was just that. It was snobbery, and I almost missed something great. I got into development, like I said, in aerospace. A couple of years into that, I went out on my own as a contractor and did contract gigs in a lot of different industries, from telecom to data warehouses. Around the time that the dot-com bubble burst back in about 2000, I had a contract that was winding up. Long story short, I ended up finding a contract gig in Fresno, California, which might be the least technically oriented city in California. Actually, I did software architecture for probably the first 15 years of my career, and then moved into building and developing teams. I was looking around for how else I could meaningfully contribute to Barracuda, and just sort of backed my way into the security role. And, at that time, one of our lead architects on the email security team had been managing our privately run bug bounty programs. And so I offered to take on that job just so that this architect could focus on developing the product that he was the lead for. And that sort of blossomed into an internal security team over the course of the next couple of years. We do vulnerability management, network scans, logging and monitoring. We do incident response. And when I'm not supporting the teams that are doing those things, a lot of my time is spent in defining our security policies and communicating those with the rest of the company and really sort of communicating the good work that the team is doing to the leadership of the rest of the organizations. The people that we talk to are working in this space on a regular basis. You still have challenges because, a team that does email security may not be as well versed in the nuances of network vulnerabilities, right? And a firewall team may not be versed in the nuances of web application vulnerabilities. The challenges that we run into are the challenges that I think everybody runs into, which is that I think that the real challenge in security is when you're trying to interact with the business, is recognizing that there are other threats to the business besides cybersecurity threats. And being able to become part of the risk management conversation. If the security guy rolls in and says everything has to be fixed, you're going to take away resources that might cost you opportunities in the future. I think that's a problem that all of us in the security industry have to recognize, is that we're part of the economic strategy of the company. You're going to apply different security controls if you're worried about cyber vandals than you will if you're worried about nation states, right? But the fear is that if I don't tell you about every single possible exploit that a nation state might throw at you, if you get hacked, you might come back to me as a security guy and say, hey, what did you miss? It's a real challenge to correctly align the investment in security with the threat that you're protecting against. I hope to be remembered as the security guy that understood that cybersecurity threats were not the only threat that a business posed. I have stuck in my mind, because I spent so many years as a developer, my picture of the security guy was that he was the guy that was always saying no. And I want to be remembered as the guy that said, yes, we can do that if we do it in this responsible way.
Now, a word from our sponsor, the Johns Hopkins University Information Security Institute, currently seeking qualified applicants for its innovative Master of Science in Security Informatics degree program. Study alongside world-class interdisciplinary experts and gain unparalleled educational, research, and professional experience in information security and assurance. Interested U.S. citizens should consider the National Science Foundation's CyberCore Scholarship for Service program, which covers tuition and a $6,000 annual professional development allowance, as well as providing a $37,000 additional annual stipend. Apply for the scholarship and the fall semester by March 1st. Learn more at cs.jhu.edu/MSSI.